cut.
Okay, whenever I talk about my childhood, I have to always talk about my twin sister Jean, who was my other self, and we did everything together. And of course, all the important events in our lives were shared. So we were born together, which is a big event, 3 minutes apart. Now, she was born 11/28, and I was born 11/31. Who remembers those dates? And if we had been born a half hour later, we would have been a day apart, which probably would have confused things even more, because we didn't look alike at all.
And where were you born? And where did you live?
I didn't. People used to ask us if we looked alike as we got older. And I said, no, I was the pretty one, and Jean was the smart one, which is awful. I should never call Jean smart and not pretty. She was a lovely lady. And I was a skinny runt, very skinny. And my mother used to say to me, when you get older and have children of your own, I hope they won't eat for you. I got that. And then
And where were you raised? Where were you born? What's
I was born in Jamaica Hospital in Queens. As I said, 3 minutes apart. And we were born and raised in Woodhaven, and went to St. Thomas the Apostle Catholic Grammar School in Woodhaven. And then we ended up going to a Brooklyn school, Franklin K. Lane. Now, the reason we went to the Brooklyn school is it was no fee. See, we were twins. And my sister Dorothy was able to go to the diocesan high school, but my father couldn't afford 2 tuitions for us to go to Catholic high school. And it was $30 a month, can you believe? But he couldn't afford it. We didn't have much money. But we never knew we were poor because we never lacked for anything. And I should talk about the clothes, because it was a terrible thing to do to a child, but we didn't even think about it. I was skinny, and Jean was what was called a chubby, and there was an actual section in children's clothes for chubby. And when you think of what PC would do to that now, they'd rip the clothes to shreds, I'm sure. So my mother dressed us alike, and she tried to match the dresses, and we couldn't sometimes. So Jean couldn't wear one of mine, so I had to wear one of hers. So I would sometimes, in my skinniness, wear a chubby dress. But they all had big belts, and they tied the belts, and I had this excess clothes all over me. But I didn't mind. See, St. Thomas's didn't have uniforms then.
Jean, tell us about your parents.
My parents. My parents were lovely, lovely people, and I have nothing but fond, loving memories of them both. My father was a CPA. I was so proud of that. And he was left-handed, and I was left-handed, so we had this kinship. And he went to NYU, and he worked his way through college playing in a Dixieland band. So he loved Dixieland, and because he loved it, I love it. You don't hear it anymore. I don't hear it at all. So every Saturday afternoon, I was a teenager even before I was married, we would sit and listen to his records. I'd be sitting there knitting, tapping away to the Dixieland music, and it was great. I loved that music. And he was also a New York Giants fan. And at the time, Leo DeRocha managed the Dodgers, and I forget who managed the Giants. I didn't see his face, but I can't remember his name. And, well, Leo got in trouble, of course. having extramarital something or other with Lorraine Day, no less, a lady at all times. And so he had to take a year off. So he was rescheduled, and they put Leo DeRocha as manager of the Giants. My father almost had a stroke. The man he hated like anything was now his manager. Now, then he loved him. He was a good manager. So we would go to Dodger Giant games together. I was his son because I love baseball. And we'd go to doubleheaders. And they literally were doubleheaders, one game after another. You got the 2 games. And there'd be 2 at Polo Grounds and 2 at Ebbets Field. And we would go. We would enjoy it.
And what were your parents' names? What were their names?
Huh?
What were your parents' names?
My father's name was, my father's name was Henry George Kerwin, but he was Harry his entire life. He died on a Sunday morning early, so they started announcing the name of Henry Kerwin, who just died, yes, sadly, and people were poking, is that Harry? Is that Harry? They never heard him called Henry. That was funny. And then my mother was Dorothy, and she was the second of 12. My grandmother had 6 girls, and she had 6 boys. Yeah. She only went, I think, the 6th grade. This was in the teens. And, but she could handle anything. She was a lovely lady. She was a good mother to always ironing, and she would take us shopping. She was cute. And
tell us about your other siblings.
Oh, then we had another sister. You know, I'm talking about Jean so much. But we had another sister, Dorothy. She was only named after my mother. She was only 2 years older. And we did a lot of things together. But Jean and I always were together. And sometimes we'd, you know, be selfish and push her out. Not intentionally, we would never hurt anybody. But she would follow us because we were cut-ups. We had fun. I have nothing but absolutely fond memories of my childhood.
Before we talk about your children, let's talk about the most important thing. Who's your favorite son-in-law?
My favorite son-in-law. Oh, I have a lot of son-in-laws. I have, well, Walter came into the group of 20 points ahead because his mother knitted. That was a big factor. But then I had Joe, who saved my life from my nemesis, the escalator at Penn Station. He saved me from a fate worse than death.
Sounds like a good guy.
Hero.
Sounds like a good guy.
He really is somebody special. And I've never seen 2 people who could love each other more than him and my daughter, Mary Joan, her name is, Mary Joan. And I always knew she had so much love to give, and she found the perfect man for it. Yes.
Tell me more about MJ growing up.
MJ, you know, we're Catholic and I'm supposed to believe in the signs, you know, the astronomical signs. But she
Astrological?
Yeah, she definitely was an Aries. Aries is the god of war. Mary Joan. And one time she was in the school, she told me, in high school, and they were talking about being left on a desert island. And she was told, the class was told, okay, the girls sit and try to cook something, and the boys go out and find some wood. And she says, why the boys? Girls can do that. I mean, she was very reactionary. I remember when at something somebody said, speaking for Mary Joan, and she stood up and she said, no one is ever going to speak for me. But she was my athlete. She could do anything. Softball, tennis, very good. Basketball, she was good at basketball. Yes.
Tell me about her siblings, your other children.
And then there was Bernadette. Bernadette was my smart one. And it's funny, because her daughter, the Lord gave her one, is a merit scholar. And she got a full scholarship to college. Thank God, because she had to put 3 others through the University of Maryland. I know what it's like, but it's a hell of a lot more money than it was when our kids were young. All right, so she was very smart and always very pretty, very ladylike. And she played basketball with Mary Jo. And didn't play tennis, but she played softball. So they were in teams together, okay? And then there's my 3rd child. I'm going to talk about my 3rd child. I'm probably going to cry. My 3rd child was my sweet Teresa. Now when she was born, my obstetrician, after the fact, I remember he kept going over to look at her in the delivery room, and he said, there's something wrong. He said, but her heart is good. She's healthy, but there's something wrong. So he warned me, and I thanked him after the fact. I said, thank you for warning me, because I wouldn't have known what to say when the pediatrician came in and told me that they used the word she was a mongoloid. I didn't know what one was. I had no idea what a mongoloid was. And he said, he was a dope anyway. Well, she'll never go to college. That's what he said to me. She'll never go to college. But I was very upset, crying, because I thought something had happened to her, because I saw my beautiful baby girl in delivery, and them to come in and tell me something's wrong with her. I thought maybe, I'm not being funny, maybe she grew another head, or her head fell off. I had no idea how this beautiful child could be a grotesque monster, the way he described it. And they brought her to me, and she was just sweet, beautiful, and lovable. That nothing could change that. I just loved her to pieces. She was so good. Everybody loved her. Hi, Mommy, I'm home. That's what she would say when she'd come in from her class. Hi, Mommy, I'm home. And we built a supermarket, and it was W-A-W-A, Wawa Supermarket, she would say. Oh no, I won't say that. I won't put that on. But she was very, very special to us. And she had a bad heart. So we had her for 17 years. And we never would have touched any instrument. She was in a coma for 10 days. But we didn't have to make a decision, because the heart was so bad, the heart faded away. So she died of, even though she was in a coma, the heart killed her. Yeah, she was so precious.
Yeah, it touches MJ every time she sees someone with Down syndrome.
If nothing else, my own children developed a love or a empathy with children like that. You know, I never had to worry about them making fun of anybody, or or being mean. Because one time when Mary, she hit me if I tell you. One time Bernadette decided, Bernadette and Mary Jo went to the University of Delaware, and they both ran a sorority. Well, Bernadette is always up there with government because she was so smart. She arranged all her part of Greek Week. Each fraternity sorority had something they did. So she was going to raise the money for the retarded. Oh no, Special Olympics. And she had the balloons, she had balloons or something, and they released the balloons in a field, and there were horses there, and the horses went wild, and they got in trouble for releasing the balloons by the horses. Oh, I didn't know if she was going to get expelled. It was funny. But one day, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, all my kids were together for something. But Bernadette was going to be late. And I said, why are you late? I said, I'm working Special Olympics today. I mean,
that's great.
They do it.
Tell me about your other kids.
Jimmy, very, 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 very quiet. But I think I told you last night, he played tennis. Chess. He enjoyed that. He was good at it. And after he went to college, he learned how to play bridge. So a couple times his friends would come over, and I'd be a fourth. And one time, don't do this, he was so happy to trump my card. There was an ace. You don't trump your partner's ace. You don't. That's a no-no in bridge. Yeah, you probably don't know bridge. And now that I play the other game, what did I say it was called? I forget. I lose words sometimes. Pinochle. You trump the ace. It's so hard for me to do that. I think it's the hardest thing I've ever done is to trump my partner's ace. Yeah. Oh, so that was Jimmy. Oh, and he went to Manhattan College, and he wanted to, extend his time. So he joined the Marines. So he had to wait a year before he could get in. He had a job as a security guard at some factory, and he went into the Marines for 4 years, and he debated about staying in the Marines or joining the National Guard, because he'd get credit for the Marine, but National Guard had an education program that was better for him. So he joined the National Guard. And almost immediately he went to Iraq. He's there now. But he didn't date or anything. But he was just computer. So he met a girl online from Latvia, one of the Balkan states under. Latvia. So he says, I want to go meet her. So, all right. 'Cause I was the intermediate. You didn't tell Jim anything, my husband, until it was a fact. So, oh, geez. He goes to Latvia, and Jim says, where's he going on vacation? He's going to Latvia. Who goes to Latvia on vacation? Oh, he wants to see that part of the world. So he calls me from Latvia and said, she's the one, I've asked her to marry me. I said, oh, okay, well, I'll support you in everything, but you're telling your father. So he comes home and he tells Jim, I'm going to marry a girl from Latvia. I said, wow. It was out of left field. So, what happened then? Oh, she had to wait 6 months, and then she came over. She was the fiancé of an American, so she got over. She got a green card. I don't know all the steps. We would take her for tests and things. But then that's when they get called up. So they were married. I didn't go to the wedding. I mean, they were married by the mayor of a small town in New Jersey, and Jean and Sheila and Keith were the attendants. Yeah. It's for quite a while now. So he went over to Iraq. So she lived with me for a year. So we really got to know each other. We were friends. She's lovely, and after he came back, she eventually became a citizen. She's a citizen. And they seem happy. They come to our parties and everything. They don't do much socially with us. No, that's not right. They socialize with us, but they don't do that much. All right. And because Teresa was right in the middle of a family, we used to call the two big girls would be Mary, Joan, and Bernadette, and then we had the two little girls, Bridget and Sheila. They were so cute. They both had blonde hair. They were towheads. They had blonde hair. Oh, they were beautiful. And I'm getting with it.
Do you want to take a break?
Yeah.
You want some water? We'll take a break.
Okay.
All right.